John Deere taught us all, treat customers right. We had lots of classes on that, and that's how we proceed with the cotton wrap.
Tama RMW cotton wrap is designed to complement John Deere 7760, CP690, and CS690 cotton harvesters that module cotton in a continuous process without stopping the harvester. The wrap is designed to minimize the risk of contamination. It assures reliable automatic packaging for non-stop harvesting, helps to maintain the quality of cotton and round modules which are exposed to extreme conditions, and helps eliminate waste.
This is your tacky material on the outside. This is what feeds, this lighter yellow is what feeds on the bale first. Then you have the AB joint that holds the two of them together, and then your tacky comes on, like the last third of the wrap, comes on, and this tacky actually helps keep the bale together. And then there's an adhesive, which I don't see on this portion here, but I can show you probably if we pull one of those apart. There's an adhesive that's on the tail area that is the final that keeps all that together.
Despite the benefits, cotton producers need to be aware of the issues that arise with onboard module builders and cotton wrap. One common problem involves loose edge covers on the module.
You know, the problem there is that when those edges are loose, they can get caught on things easier and they can tear off small pieces. That could cause some contamination.
Another problem that occurs is bale in bale. Both this and loose edge covers can be avoided by setting the wrap hoist even with this decal. This will lower and engage the wrap rollers, eliminating any slack or air gap. It also creates the appropriate tension on the wrap. It's important to remember the clutch runs at two different speeds. For the first 75 to 80% of the module wrap, the machine's wrapper should run about 233 RPMs. Before the patented Z-lock separates, the machine's wrapper should be running at about 100 RPMs.
Key things are going to be belt tracking. It's really gaps, belt tracking, and cleaning are the big things that are going to affect wrap performance on a machine and things that growers are looking at on a regular basis. So what this has got here, so this is R&B belt position. So the main thing we're saying here is the things they're going to look at as a grower is this, first of all, the gap between these baler belts on this and the outside walls of the baler.
Another common problem involves the position of the round module builder, or RMB, belt. There should be about a 3/4 inch gap between the baler's side sheet and the belt to avoid any tears in the wrap.
So if all the belts are off, there's also an adjustment they have on the baler that's up on the upper rear roller, we call it on that, where you can shift the whole belt. Either if they're tracking to one side, it can be shifted to the right or left. On the right or left side, front or rear, just to make sure that all those belts track right and not right up on those guides, again, to make sure that there is not a miswrap, because there's potential for wrap contamination is when there is a miswrap and either multiple wraps have to go on after that or there's a tear in the wrap.
Here on these bottom pictures we've got, this is your lower belt fingers on your R&B, and what we want to point out here is the spacing of these.
Another issue arises with the lower belt fingers. Take a close look at the spacing of the belt fingers. The two on the end, on both sides, have one finger with two spacer brackets. The spacer brackets have pushed the fingers out, creating a 3/4 inch gap. This should be flush. If the roll is not flush, one fix involves flipping the belt. You can do this by going into RMB service mode and flipping the belt 180 degrees. Finally, build some modules to see if the tracking improves. If this does not fix the issue, contact your dealer.
I don't know exactly what caused this right here. I guess my example, what I would say is there's something causing it. There's something out of adjustment, something bent, something's wrong to cause that, and eventually it's going to cause a damage. I mean, it's going to cause a misfire to do something.
I would say the first one to look at is the duckbill being too close and it's catching. The second would be potentially if it's an older machine, it could be the wrap fingers bent up.
You can see it from the outside.
Yeah, this is the outside layer that you would see on this bale. It's not cutting all the way through, but it's catching.
Moving on to the lower rod guides, or the duckbill.
An issue here we've seen in the past where the pivot brackets are not riding out on the roller bearing.
Don't forget to check and tighten the bolts on the pivot brackets. These guides are responsible for feeding the wrap around the roller. If these bolts get loose, the lower rod guides can come out of position, causing major issues. If the rod guide is sitting on the bearing correctly, on both sides, the next thing you would want to check is the spacing of the fingers on the duckbills.
So right next to that duckbill bracket are those the black plastic fingers here. Those get bent up, and that spot is still, it's really tight, so if that wrap catches it, again, you're going to be causing some damage.
If left uncorrected, the fingers can bend. Bent fingers scrape and create holes in the wrap. Though small, once under the pressure of a module, these holes can lead to larger rips or tears in the wrap.
This is just one of the 9 that's on the machine, and you can see, like he said, these here had got bent up just like this. And as the wrap was trying to feed through here, you've only got 1/8 of an inch of clearance for this wrap to get in here and then get into the bale chamber and start the rotation of the wrap around the module. So if there's anything that can obstruct it, this is what it's going to look like, and the wrap is going to basically back up and wrap that rubber roll. More chance of contamination in the wrap here as well. Really not a wrap issue, but a machine issue. Doesn't matter to any of us out here. It's a contamination issue.
If the plastic fingers are bent but not damaged, try flipping the finger piece over. If this doesn't work, contact the dealer for a replacement part.
The next big thing would be the lacing on these belts. These belts are, it's a one-piece belt with the ends held together by a lace. It's similar like on hay balers, things like that.
As with any belts on equipment, the RMB belts require thorough checks of the lacing, pins, and rivets. Make sure there's nothing protruding that can catch the wrap.
Sometimes we're not talking huge bits and pieces of plastic, but I mean, something like this is going to cause micro holes in that stuff, and who knows where that plastic goes.
Another common problem involves inadequate or no edge cover. If you see this problem, check behind the rollers. Make sure there's no debris buildup that would prohibit the wrap from completely folding over the edge of the module. This is one of the more notorious locations for cotton and other debris buildup, where the wrap comes in and makes a corner.
You know, we talked about the debris on the ramp. You probably won't see that much here again unless you're in really trashy cotton and higher moisture. And if you don't have any wind, you may see some buildup back there. If you do, I know it's changed. Chris, call somebody like Chris or somebody like that. We have changed our air on that ramp a little bit over the years. We had full ramp air prior to model year 12. We did some engineering changes. We took that ramp air a little bit off the center, and then we found that we were getting some buildup. So model year 12 to model year 15 machines on pickers didn't have full ramp air. We brought it back to full ramp air in 16. If you are finding that on a machine from model year 12 to model year 15, there is a kit that can be put back on those machines to get you full air across there again to help keep that ramp clean.
Another issue involves debris buildup on the ramp. Cotton or other debris can get caught and pulled in between the sheets. Even the smallest amount of debris can create breaks in the wrap. If you notice any issues, stop immediately and safely remove the debris.
Here's a little bit of a tricky one. We've got a partially wrapped module, or the wrap tailing out of the gate after eject. And what we've got here, we've got a picture, the metal end of wrap tag, wrap separation tag. In older machines it had a kind of adhesive on it that would attach to that roller. That's since been changed, but it's not fail-proof. I think anytime that optical sensor right here below these rollers misses that tag, you're going to continue to wrap that module.
Partially wrapped modules are another issue.
We call it the toilet paper effect, so it's going to come down and a whole tail of wrap comes with it. And basically the issue there is, again, you're going to have this loose wrap that potentially can get hung up during handling and when it makes it to the gin. So, but that's a common problem. There's a few things they'll look at if that's happening.
If this happens, stop, get out, and make sure you have a new clean sheet of wrap on the wrap floor. Don't forget to take advantage of the John Deere Go Cotton app. The app is available through Apple Store and Google Play, and it offers a step-by-step guide to properly clean and maintain your machine.